I can obviously report.
Good.
Oh, yeah, we get used to the madness, don't we? It just becomes our norm.
So are we being recorded now?
Yes,
Okay.
we're live.
So, since we're live, we'll go ahead and call to order the board meeting of the Belmont Tourism Development Authority for August 21st, 2019. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. If you would review the agenda, and let me know if that is okay with you, or if we need to add anything or change anything about the agenda. If not, we'll proceed according to that agenda. You also have in front of, or in your packet, you adopted the minutes from the June 12th meeting. We did not meet in July. I'll give you a couple of minutes to review those minutes. When you're satisfied that those are accurate, if we need any corrections, I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, second.
I'll second.
Motion from Ted, second from Richard. Any discussion, any changes, anybody see? All in favor? Great, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and turn the agenda, surprisingly, or the gavel over to Ted. We have a request, and I'll give Ted a minute just to review this. We have a request from the Piedmont Culinary Guild for a grant for an event that occurs at Daniel's Botanical Garden, and in full disclosure, the garden benefits from the sales of that. So to avoid any appearance of any discrepancies, I'll let Ted moderate that discussion, and the board can act as it wishes. But you can review the grant application which you have in your packet. Ted.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Jim. I'm glad to preside over this portion of the meeting, and I think to get us started, I think it'd be nice to have representative of the Botanical Garden who's on our board to summarize this grant proposal for us.
Chris Reed is the executive director of the Piedmont Culinary Guild, which produced this event for at the garden last year. It is a partnership in which the Piedmont Culinary Guild produces this entire event. The garden doesn't do anything but provide a location, but we do benefit from the ticket sales.
Just a point of order, mics may not be able to pick you up there.
The garden does benefit from the ticket sales. Last year, they sold about 300 tickets, very well attended. That was their goal. They brought out and will bring out between I think like 5 breweries, 4 or 5 wineries from the area. I think 3 distilleries, 3 people that do hard liquors, and probably something like 2 or 3 dozen chefs that provide samples. The tickets are, I think they're $80 or $85 this year, which I think is more than last year. And it's a great event. Plan on selling 300 tickets to the general public again. And I very clearly told Chris my concern with this grant application was another 300 tickets are being sold at a discount for the Carolina Meat Producers, which is holding a conference in Charlotte at that time. So it's a weekend conference, and so they're staying at hotels other than Belmont for that conference. So essentially, if the board were to approve this grant, you'd essentially just be passing on money that they provide, that the Piedmont Culinary Guild provides to farmers, or scholarships for people that want to study agriculture and that sort of thing. So it's a great thing. It's a great event for the garden. It's a good partnership. I'm not sure how the board feels about that one part of the agreement. So be glad to answer any other questions that I can. The event's October 6th. It's a big production. We close down. We don't close down. The event starts at 4 o'clock, goes till about 7. There's a bluegrass band, and there's a lot to do. It encompasses the entire garden pretty much, or the entire upper portion of the garden.
And what is the amount of the grant request?
Looks like between $1,000 to $10,000.
No, they didn't ask for a specific amount. Jim, how does this event compare to other events at the garden that we have provided grants for in the past in terms of participation and attendance and that sort of thing?
So a few of the events that we conduct are, we do relatively few events in which we sell out prior to the event. So it's unusual in that respect. Usually this board has supported kind of like our mid-level events, kind of like our music festival. We see grants for that attracts. I think the event that this board sponsored attracted something like 3,000 people, but it was just a regular admission price, freedom member sort of event. You know, it's an event that we don't have the staff to produce or the connections to produce on our own. So that's really what makes it special, is that our staff isn't burdened by much of the work. We're there to help with coordination. We help with setup. We help with day of setup. We help with trash removal and that sort of thing. That's about all we have to do. I'll use probably 3 or 4 staff people to do that. When we conduct an event, you know, we could use anywhere from 12 to 15 or more people to produce an event on our own. They actually have about 50 volunteers that help with the event.
Do we have a grant application form completed for them that I might be missing?
Yeah, it is. It's
Let's see it there. Ah, thank you.
Jim, I may be missing it, but what are the hours of the event?
It's 4 to 7.
4 to 7.
And the Piedmont Culinary Guild is located where?
So it doesn't have a real location. Chris Reed is the sole the sole employee for the Piedmont Culinary Guild. They work with the environmental farming systems and the North Carolina Agricultural Foundation, who would funnel any proceeds go to those 2 organizations, which then help farmers or provide scholarships for students that want to go to NC State or something like that and study agriculture and those kinds of things.
And I see Chris Reed is a Belmont resident. So answers that question.
Jim, of the 12 chefs that are coming in.
Well, it could be 24 or so chefs. It's a lot of chefs.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, okay. So do we know what restaurants that they represent, or?
Don't know if I can answer that question.
I think it's featured, if you go by ticket, it's featured on the culinary page, website of who the chef is and what restaurant they're from. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
It's a lot like, is it a lot like the Taste of Charlotte? Is that kind of?
Yeah, it is.
the
It's,
scope
but
of
it is all sustainably produced things, or more sustainably produced items. So the idea is farm to table.
Sure.
So, they use, they're involved with, can't remember the composting organization here in I think Dallas, Earth Farm Systems. So they work with them and they try to use all compostable serving products and that sort of thing. They discourage use of serving products at all. They're encouraging chefs to come up with something in a cone, or it's served on something that you can consume. So a bowl that you can consume or whatever after you finish the taste.
So this would be an annual event?
So they did it last year at the Garden. Thought it was tremendously successful. Chris did mention that she is having a lot of trouble with sponsorships this year. I don't know why. I know Charlotte Magazine is a sponsor, but I assume that is an in-kind sponsorship. And she does have other sponsors. But I think she's having a little bit of trouble this year with cash sponsorships. So it's counting on ticket sales. Do it.
Join the club.
Yeah. She is counting on ticket sales largely for her profits.
So this, as I'm beginning to understand it, would be a tourism-related sponsorship, since it's not going to really bring tourists to come and spend the weekend at the Hampton Inn. But it would benefit the restaurants and the businesses, and by bringing people through downtown Belmont to the Botanical Garden.
That is
it would
correct.
Indirectly
That is correct.
promote Belmont to people who might not be aware of Belmont.
That is correct.
Is that the way I read it?
That is correct. And I have to say that she does a very good job in the promotion of this event. So there's a lot of social media. There's a lot of media personalities in Charlotte that are very interested in farm to table sorts of issues. And so there was a number of people that you would recognize as reporters, newscasters, and that sort of thing that were at the event that last year. So
Is there going to be a push out there in any way to try to direct people to Belmont itself after the event? I mean, from 4 to 7, and they're going to be eating there.
It's a Sunday, so I can do that. Yeah, I can do that personally.
Do we know if any of the chefs or farmers that will be there are from Belmont?
I don't believe so. Did you found that list, didn't you, Shelley?
Yeah, I have the list here. But I mean, there's some real notable chefs here.
Right.
From the region. Let's see if there's any. I don't see any Belmont chefs at this point listed.
And last year it was a well-attended event.
Yeah, they sold it out.
Sold it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a sellout?
So last year's sellout was 300, and they sold probably 285 tickets, but then they gave some tickets to media and that sort of thing, and they were over 300 people, over 300 tickets sold. This year, they've sold the 300 tickets in advance to the conference, and I understand they've already sold 120 some odd tickets to the general public. So it's 300 plus another 300 to the general public would be a sellout. And at 120, I would think they would sell this event out. It's a lot of my members too. We promote it on our social media and that sort of thing as well.
Does anyone have a inclination to make a motion to take action on this grant request, or are there other questions? Jim, you can respond.
It sounds like a great event.
Yeah, I mean, it sold out last year. There's no reason to expect it won't sell out this year. I think the question is, we've got a pretty wide range. The range was 1 to 10,000. Is
What's the status of our funds for grants for the rest of this year, Jim?
So, yeah, I mean, we've probably got, several $1,000s left. Several thousand, probably $3,000, maybe $4,000 left. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like that.
And then we still have the
And then we still have a fund balance.
fund balance, yeah, which was 60-something thousand.
Right. I can tell you that, but I think the budget had $10,000 in there. We gave $3,000,
36.
and then we did another $3,000 to Main Street program, or $3,500 to the Main Street.
$3,500.
To the Main Street program. So that's all we've committed to this year, I believe.
And then.
We do
Bon
$1,000
temps. Bon
to the
temps.
kayak.
Yeah, so we-
$1,000.
Yeah, so we probably only have $2,500 left, or something like that, yeah. So,
2,500 till when? When do we renew?
end of the fiscal year, but we have a fund balance.
Sure.
Let me speak to a couple of other things that we know are out there. I have had conversations with the trolley board. Their indication to me was they are going to come to us during this fiscal year for some funds, probably over the next 5 years. They are fine in waiting until July 1st for any funds to come to them. Also, the Greater Gaston Development Corporation went to the City Council to ask for some funds. The City Council referred them to the Tourism Authority. I've reached out to the Greater Gaston Development Corporation to see if they want to present to us. So, and they haven't had a response from them. So. That's all I know of. Nobody else has approached me about any other grants. I don't know if anybody has approached other members of the board.
Well, so I was going to ask, do we anticipate, or do we have any other grants in the pipeline currently that anybody's aware of?
Yeah, nothing that I'm aware of.
But Jim, if I could ask one question, I don't mean this to be pointed, but what makes this event at the Garden that brings 300 people out for a Sunday evening dinner different from other events at the Garden that bring a lot of people out for a banquet or reception or other events? I mean, I guess I'm looking for what makes it special.
It feels really good. It's an event we probably don't have the capacity to produce ourselves. So and that's the thing that I like about the partnership. We don't have the contacts. It would take us years to develop contacts with 24 chefs and restaurants and get them there. I can tell you that the events that we do that are similar, I do a wine pairing event with the string band and Chad and Pops come and present, and it sells out quickly as well, and it just gets rave reviews. The other events that we do at the Garden are largely children are welcome at this event, but the events that we do are more family oriented. They're more festival types of events. They're come out on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. We have some make and take sorts of things that you do. We have some activities that families can do together. Those kinds of experiences. So that's what makes it different. This is a much more curated. It's a more curated kind of experience. So.
Well, I'll tell you where I am on this right now. We gave $1,000 to the young lady with the paddling event, and we gave her $1,000 because to me it was kind of an unproven event. Okay, we were just sticking our toe in the water. We may up that next year if it's a successful event. I mean, this seems like a successful event. You sold out last year. I mean, so just to get the ball rolling, I mean, I would be comfortable with $2,500 if that's what we have available. We're kind of fiscally constrained at the moment, but we do have the fund balance. So I don't know if you would need that in the form of a motion or just to put it on the table and talk about that amount.
Go ahead and make a motion if you will, Richard, and
Okay.
get it on the table.
Okay, then I would motion that we fund them to the level of $2,500.
Second to Richard's motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Jim, did I hear you say you recuse yourself?
No, I've been
from voting
staying,
on
yeah.
this?
I would not vote, but you've got a quorum with the four of you.
With no further discussion, call the vote. All those in favor of Richard's motion for $2,500 for this grant?
Aye.
I think that's unanimous of the four
Right.
members present with Jim's recusal.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Can I have the gavel back now?
You certainly
Thank you very much. I'm actually surprised that we did that. I'm glad. Chris would be very glad to hear it. I'm glad to get the support. I've actually been working through some financial issues with Chris and trying to make things, ends meet and that sort of thing. So it is needed. The funds are needed, and it's, I think, a very fair amount. So thank you very much.
Is there a way that in future events that we could possibly partner in some
Maybe have
way?
somebody stay at the Hampton Inn.
Absolutely.
I will make that very clear to Chris that our funds come from the Hampton Inn. In fact, I mentioned it to her when she submitted the grant. She didn't know I was chair of this board and submitted the grant to Shelley, I think directly. So,
But just as a community event, that, or not really a community event, but just build awareness, more awareness.
yeah, I tell you what, I will track the coverage that she gets, and I'll report that back to the board
Just be curious.
in
How are you,
November.
I'm sorry, how are you advertising this? Is it just social media, digital?
Mainly, but like I said, Charlotte Magazine is a sponsor. She's gotten support from WBTV. She's gotten support from Charlotte Magazine, or Charlotte Parent Magazine, just a number of publications like that. She's got a very small advertising budget. Advertising budget was in here.
I was going to say, if you ever comp tickets to media personalities.
She does.
We got John Hancock living right down the road, afternoon personality on WBT.
She has an advertising budget of $9,000. That's a pretty good chunk.
That's healthy.
John Hancock's retiring, right?
I saw that in October.
So
When is this event?
October. So goodbye, John Hancock. So I will report to the board pretty fully in October. I appreciate the consideration, and Chris will appreciate the grant. So thank you. And I'll turn the floor over to the Lyerly Agency for a regular quarterly report, and they also have some recommendations to adjust the advertising plan as requested by the board at our last meeting. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. So, how much time do we have? It's 10:25 now, so how much time?
So I'm sure the board would like to get out here by 11 or so. Is that right?
Okay.
we
Then
can.
you've got Belmont Blooms after us.
And Cassidy Cassidy will be pretty quick.
She says 5 minutes. All right, so we've got about half an hour, so we're going to clip through. We're not going to go through everything, but, so we're trying to clip through as best we can. You have before you, we have a staff clip together. So, first of all, the 3-year communications plan is actually the second sheet in your agenda. But the main thing that we want to talk about today is we thought that by about this time we would be creating and launching a dedicated press campaign toward Belmont as a culinary destination. And with our 2 breweries having left town, we want to wait until Jekyll and Hyde is open so that we can include that in it, because I think today breweries are such an important part of that conversation that we'd hate to launch on that and not have a brewery. So I haven't gotten a direct answer for when Jekyll and Hyde is going to be open. I don't know if anyone in here knows that date, but hopefully they'll get open and they'll have great beer and we can start that. Okay? Next, we'll move on. Dorothy, you want to come up? Take the next part.
Okay. Thanks. So we've been working on social media trivia contests to try and bring new attention over to the Visit Belmont Pacific page. And so we've done one every single month for the last almost 6 months now. In May, and thank you, Jim, we gave out 2 tickets to the Grand Flora exhibit at Daniel Stowe. This had great reach. We're also seeing different reach and engagement depending on what the prize is. But that's to be expected, I guess. So May had great reach, over 4,000 individuals. Then June, we had a $20 gift certificate to Catawba River Antique Mall. The reach was less, but there were a lot of great comments about how individuals love the Antique Mall, so that was great to see. Our most recent one is July. We did a $25 gift card to Saki Express. They have the locations here and in Gastonia. And what we found is this one stumped people more than any other because the answer couldn't be found online. So, and it is an interesting question. So Saki Express, their house sauce is alongside most of its meals. How many gallons are used per day at the 2 locations, Belmont and Gastonia? 5, 10, 25, or 50 gallons?
You have to guess.
You have to guess.
At least 50. I'd say 25 or 50.
25.
It's 50 gallons. Crazy, right? I know. So the engagement was great on that, and it had the most varied responses since people couldn't find the answer easily or actually anywhere. So, I know, 50 gallons. So
Does the board understand engagement and reach? I know you do, Carrie.
Not really, okay, so the engagement is the people who actually interacted with the post, and the reach is how many people, kind of like impressions when we talk about that, people saw it on their pages. When we had one back in April, it had the most out of everything because we tagged big names here in the area, Yelp Charlotte and stuff like that, and that was the Peace and Harmony gift certificate, if you recall. So the more we can link our page to ones that others follow in the area, the more engagement we're seeing. So the ones that are hyper-local, for instance, Catawba River Antique Mall, it's hyper-local, there's nothing in the Charlotte region to connect it to and link to, the engagement tends to be a little less since there's fewer eyes getting it. But say if you follow Yelp Charlotte, when we put up the Peace and Harmony post, just you follow Yelp, but you don't follow anything in Belmont, well, the Yelpers, for lack of a better word, they are seeing it because we've tagged that other page. So we are looking on a consistent basis for opportunities to do that, to bring Visit Belmont NC to people who aren't following us yet. Other prizes that we have remaining, we have a $25 gift certificate for Peace and Harmony, since they gave us 2 originally, and we have a $20 gift certificate to Old Stone Steakhouse. So we'll be looking for more opportunities, and we're consistently doing so to see who wants to partner with us. It also brings great visibility to brands here in Belmont. Calendar? Well, all right, keep going. Sure. So there are some new events in 2019 that we're trying to talk about. Like you had mentioned, the Bon Tom Paddle Battle that'll be occurring from Anchored Soul. She seems to have some great responses so far. Over 100 people have registered, which is awesome. Thursday Night Pops, which is coming up, and Barktoberfest, and we'll be getting more information soon so we can share it on social media and upcoming rack card information. And then the Boutique Belmont Christmas Market at Stowe Manor. I think they may have done a spring version of a Christmas, but this one will actually be closer to the holiday season, so we'll be promoting that as well.
For October, we'll also be doing our advertising on Charlotte Agenda, Charlotte 5, and Charlotte Stories. So that'll be, we'll push that out. And then rack cards, you have an example in your stack of the rack card that we did that was from July through September. Right now we're starting work on October and November, so almost everyone does not have their activities posted yet, but they're supposed to be all posted this week. And so
Sorry.
I'll get that. You're not the only one. You're not alone. So once those are posted, then we'll start pulling that information to pull together a rack card for October and November.
And the social media advertising is to promote the downtown Halloween events.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Boo Fest and Nightmare on Main Street.
Welcome back. So we regularly update both websites, this Belmont website you see above, and then our Belmont Bride site. Website updates on the regular BTA Visit Belmont site. We put up Friday Night Live as the featured event through its end, and once that was over, we changed it to Grande Flora, since that is a good one to transition us into a fall. Once fall comes, of course, we'll put up the Nightmare on Main Street, Brew Fest, and those activities. Places to eat, it's been the streaming. We were about to put up Rivermed with its great porch, but then it closed, so it's stayed the streaming for now. But we're thinking about Ray Nathan's for fall, as that hasn't been featured yet since it's a new business here. Additions to chick sandwiches and scoops, and then we put up a page for Belmont Area B&B. Airbnb is definitely growing here, and we've had direct messages from individuals who have an Airbnb that want it listed. But rather than listing every single one of those individually, and including ones that we don't necessarily know about, we put up a general search page to all Belmont area Airbnb. Now, of course, because we tried working with Airbnb toward this and they didn't get back to us very well, but it'll come up with some searches for the edge of Charlotte and nearby still, but those are a little lower on the list. Belmont comes up first.
So it's by distance from the center of town?
Yeah. So you might not necessarily get the ones in Gastonia, you'll get the ones in Charlotte first.
And Airbnb does pay taxes, so.
And that's the only reason we put it up.
Do they pay occupancy tax? Excellent.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what restaurant you said you were going to promote?
Ray Nathan's, we put on the list as
Where's
well.
that?
I think it's on the edge of Gastonia and Belmont.
It's not.
Okay, it's not in Belmont.
Right, I noticed their address is Gastonia, but they've been promoted as Belmont also, so
But
that's.
they're not.
They're not technically, so they don't.
Yeah,
So
I'm
we
under,
can
yeah, that's why I was
reconsider
so
that.
surprised going, I'm unaware we had it.
Okay.
That's
We'll
your
change that.
Yeah,
quick question. How is that occupancy tax being collected? Because we had that discussion, because I know there are a few that have popped up, and they seem to be somewhat unregulated, but I mean, are we locally collecting the taxes from them, or?
No, the state collects tax, and then the state pays the county, and the county pays us.
Okay,
I stay in Airbnb, I pay an occupancy tax.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
they're,
did see a breakdown, and the county is reluctant to release all the details of that. I'm not sure why, but I did see a quick flash of the report that it included that we are getting money from Airbnbs.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, where's that available?
The county.
County has
Yeah,
that?
I've asked them for detailed information on that, and they were through our finance director, and they said that it wasn't information to be distributed. Yes.
Interesting.
As far as the detail of exactly where each dime is coming from.
Oh,
Yes, so they, of course, they'll release anything, how much the city received, or the tourism board that comes to us, but,
So they're saying we can account for it, we just can't tell you where it's coming from?
yes.
we just can't account for it.
Yes, so I'm not sure if it has to be requested. They indicated the focus, according to state law, is that the tourism board needs to be focused on how we spend the dollars, make sure that it's, put back, and that's the, yes, that came to us, that's what we should focus on, is compliance with state law and how we're spending the dollars to ensure we're in compliance.
I think we need to look into that, just a little bit.
How is that determined as to what Airbnb goes on our website? Who makes that determination?
We're just putting Airbnb on there with a search.
No, there's specific Airbnb.
The only one that might be is the villa at.
That's correct.
Before Airbnb existed, they operated their own website and other items as well. So that is why they have been on our website. Because they were operating their own site, their Facebook is not up to date, but they were operating all of those things prior to putting their location on Airbnb.
No, my question was as to who makes that decision?
We
As
do.
to who goes on our website and who does
We
not?
do.
Okay. Do we do that on as it
No,
comes up?
we delegate that responsibility to the Lyerly agency.
Okay.
So let me, if I understand this correctly, these folks, these houses that want to operate as Airbnb, they umbrella themselves under an organization, they let them know that they're available as an Airbnb?
On the Airbnb website.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, I think the discussion we were having, there's one close to our house, and I don't think they're part of any regulated Airbnb, but I think they're operating as one. I think I talked to Shelley maybe about this a while back. Some neighbors had complained about debris and excessive amounts of vehicles on the weekends there. So I think part of the conversation was, as a city, I don't know, do we regulate them at all?
No, we do not regulate Airbnb. In fact, there are state statutes going through right now that are trying to remove a local jurisdiction's ability to regulate them.
But what we have told those who have emailed us, noting that they have an Airbnb, and they've sent photos and pages alongside, is that they are listed under that general page as opposed to us breaking down every single Airbnb on the website. And that's how it is currently. So if you have one in your neighborhood that's not necessarily operating as an Airbnb, we're not promoting it.
We do promote the villas, though.
Right, and it's only because I think it's just been there for a long time now, and it's now also on Airbnb, but.
And if you want us to
Change
remove
that.
that, just have them show up under Airbnb, if this committee wants us to do that, we can definitely.
I would certainly make that recommendation.
I agree. I don't know that they need to be listed in both places.
Okay. That's no problem, we can remove that.
All right. And I mean, you know, on our website, we have Airbnb, then we'll remove that. We have the Hampton. We also have the hotel in Sizzle Spade. We have the hotel in Mount Holly listed too, so.
And we made that decision because we had one time had a discussion with the Mount Holly Tourism Authority, and they were listed in the Hampton Inn at the time. I don't know if they still are. And we agreed to list the Holiday Inn on Belmont Mount Holly Road at the time. So,
I don't know if it's listed there.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I would have to check it.
Yeah.
Would you like for us to check, and if we're not on theirs? Well, how do you want to handle that?
Check and let us know about that.
Okay.
I would hope that we would check, and if we're not on theirs, that we would refresh that request that
Yeah.
Hampton Inn be on the Mount Holly tourism page. I think it's good
We're
for
certainly
both
most friendly.
organizations to have
And-
both hotels there.
Sure. We do work together a lot.
And that was the discussion at the time that we added the Holiday Inn, that it was a very good collaborative operation, a partnership between the two hotels, and I would like to see ours listed on the Mount Holly page. If it's not, I have not checked lately either. Rather than withdrawing one immediately,
Right.
Yeah, let me know, and I'll reach out to the Holiday Inn or the Mount Holly Tourism Authority. I know the Mount Holly Tourism Authority promotes the garden, so.
Speaking of removals, we have removed Rivermen from the website. If by chance they return, we'll put them back. If they do. And then an updated walking tour of Belmont is on there, and then we update that regularly as things come and go here in town. Belmont Brides, we added a wedding planners page. There's only one person listed currently. So if you know of wedding planners who are here in town, live in town, work with their office in town, let us know. And then we also added several salons, Salon 38, Regen, and then this new Mercantile Barber are all on there as well. There's consistent maintenance of the Instagram page alongside the hashtag Belmont Brides. Notice that Belmont Brides is over 100 as a hashtag, so that's good considering it's such a niche item. And then we're cross-promoting the brides onto the BTA social media and back and forth so people know it exists. And then time is dwindling, so I don't think I'm going to go through the whole packet. But we've had a variety of PR coverage. Garibaldi Fest to begin with, that had a significant amount of coverage. In addition to show parent mentioning Red, White, and Belmont. Charlotte Stories happen to know Belmont as one of the best places to raise a family in North Carolina. Belmont's been listed among a variety of different listings, so that's great to see, and there's lots of articles on that. There's a feature by Delish on Nellie's Southern Kitchen about the Jonas-themed restaurant, so it's always great to see that. And then we also have Gaston Alive stories and lots of Gaston Gazette news. That seems they're covering every new business in town, which is awesome. Like that.
Anybody would like to see those?
There's one in there for Charlotte Magazine, Jim, that's your.
South Park
article.
Magazine.
South Park Magazine, and that's your article, and we just thought people should see it.
It's a great feature on Grandiflora, so.
It was a good interview.
Yeah. Social media, with a variety of activities. So our Facebook is increasing steadily. We had a really big push in March with the Peace and Harmony contest, and like mentioning, reaching out to other pages in Charlotte. We're seeing the likes increase on a regular basis. And the reach since March with that Peace and Harmony contest has been over 10,000 every single month. So that's great. This is the biggest stretch we've had of that kind of number. Our Twitter engagement, you can see the numbers here. Once we tag Jonas Brothers, again, we get a major increase in engagement, so we're going to use them appropriately to do that. But you're seeing a lot of people on Twitter talking about how they're coming to North Carolina just for this restaurant. So the age group that uses Twitter more often are those who are fans of Jonas Brothers, so it makes sense. Instagram activity across BTA and Belmont Brides. For the first time, we noted how many posts we have made, because these numbers on Instagram are affected a lot by how many posts actually go up there. So we want you to know how many posts there are versus the numbers, since the difference between BTA and Belmont Brides is pretty significant. Brides is still growing, but it's great to see people tagging us and their wedding pictures, the photographers tagging us. So we're getting that on a more consistent basis. But BTA has a great following already, and then we posted a little bit more on there than the brides page. So we're going to try and even that out a bit more, get more interest in the brides, and see how the numbers increase from there. Any social media questions? Yes.
This is back on the webpage,
Yes.
so I'm not sure if it's been shared with your firm, but the Main Street program has developed a app for Belmont for historic walking tours. That's a really cool narrative type of thing, and I just wanted to see if that's been shared with your team and whether there's a link on the website for that, because it's an excellent walking tour. People download an app. If we had the link for the app or something on the website, that would be great.
I think we put up a line, but now I can't remember which page it's under.
Because I did, yeah, I just sort of popped up there and I looked.
It might be under newsroom.
Newsroom?
Yeah, and I believe it's there. And we put up that there is, I think this is the page. Nope, it's not there. So it would be up in the top content, since these are all just articles. I cannot remember which page it's under, but it's under there somewhere that there's an app to download.
Is there a link to the app or anything like that?
There's not. I think just because I did this on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Click to,
That is.
What is that?
That's
That's
the
the
walking
PDF.
tour, that's a PDF.
Right, and this is a walking tour as well, but it's a narrative that comes through an app, and it's a storytelling. If you haven't done it, it's fantastic. There's a lot of cool sounds, and it's a storytelling of the historic downtown Belmont. So it could work very well with your walking tour, your PDF, but maybe instead of the PDF, have that.
Shirley, do you know how much that app costs to develop by any chance?
No, we could look at it. It was done in-house. All the hard work was done by the Main Street team. But there is an annual fee that is paid for the app. And it provides the ability for the city to actually expand the walking tours. I forgot how many walking tours it holds, but you could do a culinary walking tour, you could do a brew crawl walking tour, so it's something that can be built upon that, like a historic home walking tour, so it can benefit other groups that support that mission to get people out and walking around.
Okay, so it is expandable?
Yes, it's definitely expandable, yes.
If you get that information, how much that costs, can you let me know?
Sure, I will make a note of that, yes, sir.
And we will add that link.
Thank you so
I
much.
feel like it's somewhere, I just can't remember where I buried it.
Shelley, what's the name of that?
Oh, right. There's somewhere.
Belmont
Belmont
Go. And it's available for Android or Apple, and it is it's a fun thing to do, to listen to. But there was a murder at one of the stores. It's actually very fun to listen to, yes.
Next in your packet is the keyword search. So these are the things that people go online, they're doing search engine marketing, and so these are the things that are most searched on our search engine marketing. And one of the things I want to say is in the budget that you've requested where we cut the budget, we've cut the search engine marketing. So these numbers will be affected pretty greatly once we do that. So, but let's get through them. In April, I think the interesting thing is weddings is 390. Daniel Stowe is 355 clicks. The Hampton is 196, and Nelly's and All Things Jonas is 51. I like to look at it on these, for these 4 months. If you look, weddings is 390, then in May it's 337. If you flip over on the back, in June it's 349, and then it drops off drastically. It's too hot for weddings each one, so it drops to 179. With Daniel Stowe, in April it's 355 clicks. In May it's 290. In June, it's back up to 328, and in July, it's 319. Hampton, if you look in April, is 196. Very same number in May, 196. June, 210, and July, 215. So, and Nelly's is pretty steady, between 55 and 45. So this is how people are coming to us. But you can also see in here that people are searching breweries. In April for breweries, there were 135 clicks. So we need a good brewery, or 3. Okay, so that's a keyword search. And then with our search engine marketing numbers, and this too is the budget that we are presenting has cut this number. If you look in April, the number of impressions, so this is the number of people who saw our ad, it's all 4 months are in 14,000, and then the visitors are in 1800s, number of visitors. So these are the people who click and come onto the site from the search engine marketing. And then the same thing with weddings. We're consistently, for Facebook, getting 32,000 impressions. And then the number of people who click on that range from 197 to 280. Google is around 5,000 impressions every month. And it ranges from 188 to 229 clicks on that. So I'm going to move on. Does anyone have any questions about any of that so far? All right, behind your green sheet is where we're talking about money.
Prior to that, as under plan your trip and at the bottom, if there is a link for Grow It, since we mentioned that also, that would be great, a direct link to download the app.
And I did forget.
It's meant, both of them are mentioned, the Belmont Go and then Daniel Stowe's partnership app. It's right there because it tells you can download either of those. But we do not have links. So if you have one for Daniel Stowe as well, that'd be great.
Okay.
One thing that I did want to mention that we have changed, and I wanted an opinion from this committee about on the website before we talk about money. Could you go to the Leslie tab? So we made a change on this. We did this last night because we didn't want to have it up there long if you didn't like it. But what we wanted to do is have this website be a little more interactive and have it send people to places, to things to do. So if you can scroll down a little bit, we've activated this slider. So here, like Nelly's, browse the menu, click here. So Muddy River Distillery, take the tour. So you can click and sign up for their tour on their website. Hampton, book today, it goes right to the Hampton's website where they can say when they're going to be here. And then Daniel Stowe, and this one links to Granda Flora. So I wanted you to look at this. These are the ones that we just chose to show you today to see if you like that, because it's a little more commercial than we've done in the past, but we thought it was a good idea. Do you like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. It feels good. I mean, the animation makes it appealing, and yeah, I love it.
Does it open in new tabs?
Yes, new tabs.
And so they don't leave our site.
Right. Ours stays up completely. So there, if you click, this is, takes you to Grand Flora. And, so this takes you right to the Muddy River side and then the Hampton Inn. And you can see all of those are opening up in different windows.
That one did not.
Huh?
That one didn't.
Okay, we'll check, I'll check that one. Okay, so you like it, want us to keep going with that?
I like it.
Absolutely.
Looks good.
Terrific.
And while we're talking about the website, the homepage photo seems to be the one that we've been using for a long time. Do you see advantage in maintaining that consistency, or would there be an advantage in changing that up to a seasonal or something different look on that homepage so it doesn't
Yeah,
become so familiar?
Yeah, we like to have a blossom page there, a blossom photo, because it is, we're Southern Charm Blossoms, we like that, but we could change that out periodically.
If you scroll down, the pictures underneath it change.
Yeah.
You know, things to do, and then the featured restaurant, not that one, but the ones underneath. So we change, oh, if you keep scrolling down, sorry. That one, so we change that with whatever event we're featuring for the particular season. But if we can look at changing the top one. We probably also have a lot of blooms photos.
Yeah, we probably do.
I think you got seasonal blooms. It would make that page a little bit more exciting, maybe, instead of seeing the same page when you go to the site every time.
Okay,
It would for me, I don't know if it does for everybody else.
okay. We could definitely do that. All right. Thank you. Okay, next. Our request that you guys made from your last meeting, and Jim talked to us about this, is to reduce the search engine marketing budget. We have been spending $27,000 annually on search engine marketing, and said that the goal was between 15 and 16 to reduce it down to that, and then shift the remaining money over to other advertising opportunities. You know, so we wanted to reach Charlotte and a broader market and to drive traffic to the website. And then in addition to that, we had $8,000 for Belmont Blooms. So if you look at your budget, the new things that are added in this are in red, okay, to make it a little easier. So in this first long box right here, this shows our original budget, and then in the column beside of it is our proposed budget. So if you look at search engine marketing, originally our budget was search engine marketing and retargeting, $1,500 a month, so that was $18,000. This is just for the general. So what we have recommended, we've already gone July and August at $1,500, so that's $3,000. But what we're saying is that September through June, so for the next 10 months, we reduce that to $1,000 a month, or for $10,000. With weddings, our original budget was $550 a month, so that was $6,600 a year. So July and August are 2 months at $550, so that's $1,100. And then we're saying September through June, we drop that to $300 a month or $3,000. So if you look at our totals in search engine marketing, we were at $27,100, and now we're at $17,100. Does this make sense? Is everybody following this? Okay, great. With advertising, Facebook boost, we still want to keep the $50 a month. Digital advertising, our original budget was $1,500 for 4 events, and we want to have a 5th event since Belmont Blooms, which is going to be discussed soon. So in the general budget, That extra $1,500 for Belmont Blooms, you can see is over in the Belmont Blooms column. We're keeping the others steady as our original recommendation. We're also looking at a digital billboard to help reach. So we've got a couple of options. With Adams, they're outdoor, there's boards on 485. One is up near Highway 27, Mount Holly, Huntersville. The other one is near the outlet malls, and then there's FAR.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay for the bar one.
Okay,
We can do the bar one.
we like
Yeah.
that. We like that. And then Lamar has some that are up on 85, not 485. But we're thinking digital boards because we don't want to spend the money for vinyl for this short period of time. But with digital, depending on when we can get that placement, we can either promote events, whether it's Blue Fest and the October events, Christmas, Belmont Blooms, or any of those things. So, or if there's nothing going on and there's availability and we can put it up, we'll just do Belmont in general. On the North Carolina tourism site, we have added Oktoberfest to this. If you remember in the past, we've always, well, for the past few years, we've done holiday lights on the visitnc.com site, and we've gotten some good results from that. And so we are recommending that we add some of our top events to the North Carolina tourism site. So there's Oktoberfest, Belmont Blooms, and Friday Night Live.
And just to be clear, the Gaston County Department of Tourism places our events on the North Carolina Tourism website, visitnc.com or .com.
It's com.
Visitnc.com. Just because the state wants one point of contact in each county. What Leah's talking about is a featured event listing on that website, so it comes up with a photo and is featured more prominently than the hundreds and hundreds of events that are listed on that website. It's still searchable, you can still find our events, but this brings us up to the top,
Yeah.
out to the front.
Brings us to the top, get a nice photo, we get to write paragraphs of copy and tell about the event to help entice people to come. So in that, 2 of those are added into the fiscal year 2020 budget, and then we've got Belmont Blooms, which we would like to run for 2 months, so we can start early with that. That's $750 in that budget. The next thing we're recommending is Our State Magazine. Are you familiar with this magazine? There's a copy in your stack. This is, it's either #1 or #2 destination magazine in the United States as far as circulation and awards and that sort of thing. So we would like to be in this magazine. This is going to reach people locally, it's going to reach the Charlotte market, and it's also going to reach people in North Carolina and some actually out of state too. But the bulk of their readership is in North and South Carolina. I put a form in here of who reads Our State, just to kind of give you, this is a front and back thing that's in your stack. Who reads Our State? Females are 58%, which they're usually the ones that are saying, let's go somewhere. Average age is 53. Average household income is $171,000. So these are people who read this to get ideas of where they want to go eat, where they want to go sleep, and what they want to do, where they want to visit and see. 84% have graduated from college. These people have, the money and to travel. In North Carolina, our average is 24% of the population has graduated, so they're 84%. And 24% have completed post-grad. Their average net worth is almost $900,000. 17% of them are millionaires, and 17% serve on board of directors. And here's what I really like. These readers love to travel. 91% travel overnight in North Carolina, 86% travel outside, but 80% consult Our State for travel ideas. So this is a juicy place to be. And then on the back of this page, you know, what do they use it for? Dining and entertainment, 87%. So I think we believe that this is a really great opportunity to be in here. So we have recommended to be in their destinations page. The cost of the destinations page is about half of the cost of being in the regular publication, but I will say that we have used this destinations page for other tourism accounts that we have had in the past, and they've gotten really good results from it. The destinations page is on there are no page numbers. But this is good. There's 6 ads per page, and a lot of their readers, if they're looking for somewhere to go or something to do, they go right here just to see what's happening. So this is where it's right before the calendar and that. So this is what we are recommending, and we are recommending one of these 1/6 page ads 4 times. And with this ad, we're thinking that this will be a general tourism ad about Belmont, not an event-related, because we've got a lot of event-related, heavy things. This would be just kind of an ongoing, you know, visit Belmont, maybe list some of the things that are happening and things to do. So this is $6,400 of our recommendation. And this is image, branding, and getting people interested, you know, on an ongoing basis, not for just an event.
If we were to do something with our state, would they be willing to do an editorial piece with us?
No. They are not in play.
Yeah.
It's separate from their advertising and editorial separate.
Okay.
But they do cover
We do
us.
get a good
Yeah, I
we
just
do
saw the
get-
Whitewater in this issue, so I didn't know if,
I got a mention in the September issue,
okay.
in the editor's letter. So,
That's good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they do a story about the garden about once every 18 months.
Okay, so, okay.
Yes. So this is in our recommendations 4 times in here. And then, next are emails. So our state does emails to people, to various people. And in Belmont Balloons, we're recommending that we go a little deeper with our state into their emails. They have an exclusive email blast that we would recommend that we're in the 2nd week of March to talk about Belmont Balloons and all the activities, because I think you're going to be thrilled with how many activities are going on during that time, during that 5-week period. So we want to do the 2nd week of March. This goes out to 120,000 people, and the cost for that is $3,500. In addition to that, they have a travel and events email that they send out. They send out 44,000 of these. They have an average click-through rate of 28%. And so we're recommending that the 3rd week of March that goes out, and then the 1st week of April that it goes out again. And each one of those travel and events emails are $1,000. And then in addition to that, we always, well, last year we sent out a newswire for holidays to talk about the lights here. And we're recommending that we do that same thing on a newswire. The newswire goes out to various publications all over, and we're recommending doing that again, and that's $1,000. So in both columns, we are a little bit over, so we can talk about that. But with our budget, our original budget was $91,325. Our proposed budget now is about $1,800 more than that, so at $93,175. And then our budget with Belmont Balloons is at $93,660, and we were asked to come in at $8,000 on that one. So that's where we are right now.
Carrie, I do have it on good authority that McCaddenville will be featured, I don't know, in a holiday section in our state. You know that? We looked at advertising in that section, so I don't know if you saw those rates.
Yeah, I did.
They were way high.
They think highly of that, that section, so.
We take full advantage of our name during that time.
I like the changes that you've made,
Great.
but let me ask you one thing. I mean, I know it's difficult, but how do we benchmark them or track them to see the impact that they're having versus what we were doing? Is there any way that's tangible to do that?
Right. We will be able to track the NC Tourism. They can tell us clicks on that site. It will be difficult to tell with our state, where that would be a difficult one to track, honestly. And then our state emails, we can track those for sure.
Okay.
I can tell you that we ask at the point of sale, when we sell a ticket, we ask where people are about us.
Okay.
So, and I don't use the print, our state print very much, but I do use the email, and it works very well for us. But print is hard to.
Well, maybe the
You can't click the
restaurants.
magazine, you can't click the billboard, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we can get some sort of impression from the restaurants and things. Yeah.
Restaurants, and I was surprised when, after we did October and holiday, we got a very good sense that the things that we were doing were working, just not by seeing click-through rates or anything, but just by, how the merchants were responding and the success that they felt.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we're going to be able to benchmark that.
I was actually surprised that we saw that much excitement about some of the things that we were doing.
I think these are really good recommendations. Great job.
I really like that we're going to have a consistent presence for 4 months in our state. I think that would be a really good test to see the impact of that. I think it'll be huge.
Right.
And that exclusive email, that means it'll be just about Belmont.
Yes,
That would be
yes.
exclusively.
It is, so it's only about Belmont, and we get to write it. So we get to do the messaging.
Is that something that we could see prior to?
Of course.
Yes, we'll see it.
So the ad placement in our state is 4 months straight or quarterly?
Well, this is through, our budget goes through June, so we're saying 4 times between now and June.
Okay.
And I'll have to check the deadlines, but November they work far out, so I think November might be the first time we would even have a possibility of being in. So we'll double check those dates.
What did we take in last year?
$100,000.
Took 100,000 in.
Yeah, we'll need to massage the budget a little bit. I'm just gonna ask and I need to digest it before I can help manage that budget. I think we need to come under. I think we need to reduce those just a little bit. But I think what we,
Thinking of our billboards, that'll do it.
that puts us under budget for that. And we can manage the Belmont Bloom's budget according to when we get there in the spring.
Right, because we have, for digital billboards, we have, for 8 weeks, we have $4,000. So that would knock us down to 89 as opposed to 99.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we're there. Thanks, Carrie.
Yes.
Are you doing our events? Is that what you're promoting on her digital billboard? Because we already send her, as internal staff of the event, we send her.
Yeah, we've got enough room that we can pitch both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that we send her one from us to put on the billboard.
Okay, well, we'll coordinate that.
And we do too, so.
Yeah.
That's good.
Great. Marvelous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you want to just let me know on approval on the budget, or? Where do we go?
I think we approved the budget, and I don't see any reason, I don't think we need a vote on this. Do we need to vote on it?
Is it a budget amendment?
Is it a budget amendment? Because the budget doesn't change. It doesn't change, we're just changing where we're spending money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
It's just a reallocation.
As long as there's consensus and reason.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, so then our fiscal year 2020 is approved.
Yeah.
You like that? And
Yes.
then with Belmont Blooms, do you want to
I
get
think
back?
I think we'll massage that as we go.
Okay, great. All right. That's it.
You're on,
I'll set Cassidy up. So Belmont Blooms has really blossomed over about the past 6 or 8 weeks. We now have a committee that includes me, Malia, Phil, Cassidy, and Jamie. And so Cassidy is going to present, there, the inception, I'm setting it up for you, present what we've done so far with Belmont Blooms. And now, the inception came from, it kind of grew together, another plant reference, get it, grew together, after the Lyerly agency, when they presented the 3-year plan and said we needed to do it to establish a signature event for the town of Belmont, or for the city of Belmont. And about the same time, I had a discussion with our executive director who said, how about Belmont Blooms? And Belmont Blooms became an event that would occur over several weeks in the spring, generally when things start blooming, when you see daffodils and tulips and azaleas blooming. And it's a very beautiful time in the garden. And so I came to the board, presented to the board liked the concept. I then went to the city staff, and we had a very good meeting with the city staff, and I understand we had a great meeting with, you guys had a great meeting with our director of horticulture to enhance or change the plantings that the city does, and planters and so forth around town. And so we're pretty excited about what Cassidy is going to present. And Cassidy is working with Phil now. You're now one department
I've been
now.
reallocated from Parks and Recreation to our downtown director. So still doing all the exact same things, just sort of working more in harmony with that program and the events that they put on to kind of consolidate and hopefully be more effective with their resources. So, but yes, I'll just give everybody just a quick overview of what we've come up with so far, and if you have any questions, you feel free to jump in.
Great.
I'll show you what we've got. So this is really going to be, like he mentioned, a collection of events, a lot of which are already existing, but these are the things that we hope to sort of bring in and grow to make it more of a unique feel than just sort of, we already do these things, let's call it something different. The first of which, this was an inspiration photo that Phil came across, and we sort of had an idea to do a lit evening parade. It would be a non-motorized but centered around garden, flowers, landscape type theme, and so to get the kind of public involved. And so our hope with that is we can coordinate a small parade down Main Street, where at the end in the evening, all of the lit items would consolidate in Stowe Park, and folks, much like the Festival of Trees that we did last winter, could walk through and enjoy those as a more stationary piece. We will also be adding an additional Friday Night Live concert that will kick off the event, or have it earlier on in the event, I should say. Another portion will be a natural view. It's going to be a juried art show that will be on display throughout the event.
Yeah, and that's, so a natural view is a juried art show that the Gaston County Art Guild has done for a number of years. It's been at the Shield Museum quite a number of years, but they came to the garden and asked us if we would be willing to host a natural view at the garden during this time period. It just happened to work out that we put them in this, in the time periods that you see on the sheet that we have in your packet. Half of the exhibit will be at the garden, and half of it will be at the Bliss Gallery. And we'll have 2 openings. We'll have an opening event, opening reception at the Bliss Gallery, and an opening reception at Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden. But it will be, it's a new event that will be at these locations the entire period.
And I want to say something about the kickoff Friday Night Live concert. It's going to be in conjunction with our existing Garibaldi Festival, so it's not a 100% new event. We are really trying to utilize the existing events that we have and build upon them. And so we've already branded it as a local art event as the Garibaldi Festival, so we're just adding to that to make it a bigger event.
So in addition to that, we are hoping, where you see the blooming selfie station, we're hoping we can work with some local groups to create a physical installation, hopefully by the clock in view of the chamber camera, where folks can go. It would have to be branded with the Belmont balloons and photos, just sort of to add that increased visual element throughout the festival. And also we are working on some centralized branding that we can patch on all of these events, existing and new. So the when and where, so this is going to span 5 weeks, starting with the Belmont Blues Parade would be the kickoff on March the 27th. And as you can see, we already have a pretty robust group of events that we'll be including in this. And then it would culminate in the end with the existing Garibaldi Festival, the Friday Night Live concert, the evening before, and we have a few other events that will take place on throughout the end of that, with City Pride Day and the Botanical Park plant sale, which all fit very well within the theme of what we're going for.
Yeah, if you want to know anything more about any of those events, they are events that we've traditionally done. We've made sure that they fall within this time period. We've frequently done a plant sale, haven't always done one, but we made sure it fell within the time frame. Pups and Perennials is one of the couple of times at the garden that we actually allow dogs. You see there the Gaston Symphonic Band just night before last approved doing a concert on the 29th at the garden, kind of a late afternoon sort of thing that would actually coincide with the reception that we're doing with the Gaston County Art Guild. And then Peter Rabbit's Garden Adventure is something we've done for a dozen or so years. That's probably one of our most popular events of the year. I was talking about the kind of family kind of attractions that we do. And then of course we have Earth Fest. Earth Day is April 22nd, but we do a weekend event that is themed on around more sustainable living and those sorts of things. And then the beer garden will be open every weekend day except for Easter Sunday. So, and that's in addition to the city events. This doesn't come up on the later slide, does it? The city events. Am I talking too much? You want to go over those later? I don't mean to mess up your.
Well, we just sort of included everything that we.
Good. Why don't you take back over, Cassidy? I didn't mean to mess up your flow there. And then the events that the city has tended to do, Arbor Day celebration, and all fit nice and neatly in this package. The Easter egg hunt at the two city parks, and then City Pride Day that Keep Belmont Beautiful does, are all really good events. And then I think moving Garibaldi Fest back a little bit this past year, I guess it's about the same weekend time frame this coming year too, isn't it?
So it sort of fell there on the tail end, and we are hoping, since we've already tried to create a push for, this is a local event, we want arts, we want crafts, we want creators, that we can take that and build upon, well, now we want blooms and flowers, and what can you do to enhance the theme of that to make it complement more of this larger event. And then some things that we have discussed as potential additions to this that we're hoping to kind of flesh out. A restaurant week, a retail week, if we have, some additional openings, maybe a bar hop, brewery, walk, that kind of thing. We always like to, or what we have tried to begin, encouraging our downtown businesses to decorate their windows to go with a patriotic theme, hopefully now a floral theme, just to kind of enhance the visual downtown. And then the idea of a thriller, filler, or spiller plant exchange was brought to us by Malia, which sounds like something that would be a great addition. We're hoping to partner with our Keep Belmont Beautiful organization to maybe bring that. So they'll have a plant sale, we would have a plant exchange here in downtown, just to continue to add to that. And then an online bulb sale fundraiser is a potential thing we're looking into doing, which would be relatively low cost to do since it's something that's online, but the proceeds would obviously come to benefit that event.
I'm also doing, I'll start promoting this at the garden in October. We're doing a fall plant sale as well as a spring plant sale. During the fall plant sale in October, I'm going to sell bulbs. So you can buy daffodils and tulips and that sort of thing that you would plant in the fall for blooming in the spring. And so I'll be promoting that, start promoting this event during that October event. And then we'll have bulbs in the store through December probably. So we'll be promoting it at the garden and try to get this off and running on a good pace. So, and the online bulb sale is something that I wanted to do. I had talked about when we did the budget, I put $20,000 below the line, kind of below our budget, and said I would try to raise the money. We went through a transition with our horticulture director. I was trying to do a bulb sale that would benefit Belmont Blooms, but I don't believe, I didn't get done because of the transition of our horticulture director. So I can't raise that money, so I offered the opportunity for the city to do a fundraiser through Brent and Becky's Bulbs, which essentially just means you register with Brent and Becky's Bulbs, and then they give you 50% of the proceeds from any of the bulbs that you sell through your organization. So it's essentially you promote the sale of the bulbs, and then the city, it's got to go to a nonprofit, would get the proceeds, 50% of the proceeds from that. So it's really just a promotional effort. So if we can do that, we will. But the money would go to, I guess it's the yeah, right.
And I don't know, we had loosely discussed maybe they could sell on the website a cultivated group of plantings that we may also be using between downtown and the garden. I don't know if that was still going to be a possibility based on maybe with the horticulturist.
That might be something that we work towards in the future, but probably not this
Yeah,
year. So
I think we're a little too late.
Collection of bulbs this year and what people want. But you will see a theme. We've worked, like Sid said, with a horticulture director.
Director of horticulture, yeah.
And coordinating some of the plantings at the garden, specifically in the main areas that will also look very similar to the ones that are going to be in downtown, so we can cross-pollinate.
Yeah. There we go. Keep it up.
And also helping to strengthen our relationship with the garden, and so we're really excited about that. And we're hoping that maybe we can take that particular group and extend it to people in Belmont if they want to add it to their gardens, that they can, and tell them kind of the different things that we're using, so you kind of see the theme throughout.
So again, just some potential things. The concept, we have all these events kind of brought together, but the concept, about certain things is still a little pliable at this point. So things that we would maybe hope to involve here. And then finally, we have put together a list of potential partners, which would include this board. So partially why I'm here is kind of to put a bug in the air and see how you guys might want to be involved in this as we bring it to fruition. Do you have any questions?
Do you want to talk about WLNK at this time?
Yes, we met with Ramona Holloway, Matt and Ramona in the afternoons on the link, and we talked to her about, becoming more involved in Belmont and helping us out and that sort of thing. There's real interest there. So what we want to do is what we have done is we've asked her to do like the marshal of the parade on the first day, the opening event. And so we have not gotten an answer back. She has to go take it to the station and all of that, but that's what we're wanting to use her for. And so she'll talk about it on the radio. She talks about Belmont a lot anyway, because she loves Belmont and lives here and everything. So we're hoping to make that time, and we're hoping to get a yes, but they're checking their schedule, and there's a lot of layers to go through. But we're excited.
And just a couple, I'm hoping that you see this and you're involved in organizations, and that we put the chamber up there and the Rotary up there, and we're hoping, we can find roles, whether it's simply to promote or to actually do other things. Phil and I went to Michael Applegate at Gaston County Tourism, and he said if we would guarantee we'd spend $10,000, he'd spend $10,000 in promoting this for us. The garden has its own budget that I'll use to promote. Peter Rabbit's Garden Adventure, a part of Belmont Blooms, so I can do those sorts of things as well. And so we're hoping other organizations will do things. Holy Angels is obviously involved in the Bliss Gallery discussion, and they talked about doing a flower cotton candy in the shape of a flower at the shop over here. So, I've always thought that the good thing about this is people can get involved any way they want, and we'll help them promote their event, as long as it fits this theme. So.
Well, the other thing that we've done a really good job on is incorporating existing events into this, and so we're not really creating a whole ton of new events. We're adding to existing events, like moving the Garibaldi Festival a couple weeks earlier. So we're not creating another event on city staff and using those resources to bolster this event and this festival. So we've been very diligent about making sure that we're doing that, but wanting to create a really, really awesome. The parade, I think, is probably the most
The newest and hardest thing.
The newest thing.
And hardest thing to do, probably.
Yeah, so.
Do you have a printout of this anywhere?
And then you do have the events there.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have a PDF of PowerPoint.
Yeah, and this is still very a work in progress, so just so you guys know, we met last week and it literally changed last week, so we're still just verifying information, so we're hoping to have something more solidified in about a month, I think.
Yeah, we've moved our committee meetings to, I guess, once every 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So we're meeting, I guess, next week or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Are you ready to do a civic club presentation yet? The big folks like the Rotary
Heck,
Club
I think we're to the
will be
point that
involved.
we can do some presentations in some groups, yes, absolutely.
I believe you're going to Rotary, I can get you on the
Yeah,
schedule, I
that'd be
think, pretty
great.
quickly.
That'd be
But
great.
I think Rotary will be a good, I see Rotary's up there.
Yes. This is all very hopeful to build and relationships there to all these groups, so.
That October date's going to up really quickly in loan sales, so we get
Well, I think our branding is pretty close to emerging, so that'll help us.
Thank you, Cassie. All right. Not too bad. Any other business to come before the board?
Oh, yeah, okay, so, the city has sent out an RFQ for branding services, and the branding services will include reaching out to other organizations to see how things can be tied together. So, Jamie Campbell is the lead on this project and is forming the steering committee. So the city felt it was important that, since the goal is to get branding, overall branding for the city, but also bring in some of the other organizations, we wanted to see if there was a member of this board that would like to sit on the steering committee. And I'm not sure how long the process is planned to be 3-4 months, maybe 6
It
months?
depends, the timelines that we got in the RFQs are very, very different. But we hope to have a company or 2 or 3 companies selected. I think the deadline is by the end of September. So we already have all the proposals.
So if there's some interest, I know we have some people in PR design.
I would love to be a part of it if there's not any other interest.
The board consensus is carried.
I would offer that consensus.
All right.
That consent?
Well, great.
That'd be great if you would do that.
Great.
Thank you.
All right.
Do it. Yes.
Great, I have homework for you.
Another committee? Anything else to come before the board? Thank you for your time. We'll stand adjourned and meet again in about 3 weeks now, I think, so.
Thank you for your cooperation and postponing this meeting.
Yeah, of course.
Of our meeting last Wednesday.
Of course.
We've got about more than 100.
Okay, the mics are off now, so. What do you really want to say?
He said that